TiVo faced tough competition from B-Sky when it launched in the UK over a decade ago, but in 2009, TiVo entered into a strategic partnership with Virgin Media and now boasts subscriptions from nearly half of the cable's providers' customers. Tom Rogers is the CEO of TiVo and joins us now around the set. And for full disclosure, I should mention that Tom helped launch CNBC. How many years is that ago?
It's about 18 years ago. In March, it'll be 18 years. It was a major accomplishment for CNBC to go international, but little did we know that you guys would be in 100 million homes by now, so congratulations.
Well, it's great to have you around the set. Let's talk about TiVo here in the UK. Now, your subscription numbers for the UK with that partnership with Virgin look great, but I'm more interested in the fact whether these subscribers also have access to Netflix, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Well, it's part of what it's all about, certainly. It's all about more and more choice, and that choice turning into chaos for consumers because there's just so much more television than anybody knows what to do with, and flipping through the dial the way you used to find what you wanted to find on TV just doesn't make sense anymore. So what we do is organize the chaos. We organize that choice, Netflix being a critical part of the over-the-top offering. Interestingly, in the U.S., cable operators cannot offer Netflix as part of their offering, at least yet, and Virgin was the first cable company to be able to do so by launching Netflix as part of their overall offering. And so that's really a great indication of where cable might be able to go by taking its traditional television channels, putting it together with not only video on demand, but these so-called over-the-top services, and really providing for cable customers the ultimate TV experience.
But cable operators are living in really tough times. If I look at a recent report from Citi, pay TV industry reported its worst 12-month stretch ever. 5 million people ended their cable and broadband subscriptions between 2010 and this year. Where do you see growth?
Well, I think that's where we come in. I think it is critical for cable, if it's going to ride this wave of so-called advanced television and all these new choices, to be the ones at the cutting edge of providing that choice. Most cable operators are major providers of video TV, of course. They've also invested heavily in their broadband pipe, and the combination of video and the broadband connection is really where advanced TV, having infinite choice on your television to any screen, anywhere you want it, anytime you want it, and maximizing the quality of that experience for viewers is really where cable can have a unique impact. Those that are moving quickly to make sure they're the ones leading the way will do fine. Operators who are slow on that, I think, do face a very difficult challenge.
The issue is that there are so many devices out there, and even coming up to the Christmas season, we've seen a couple more on the shelves, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox. Many see these as entertainment type of consoles that they will have in their living rooms. Is there a spend that gets diverted away from TiVo, away from your part of the industry, when you see these other devices that are not directly in your patch, but could be enough to, I guess, steal some of the entertainment spend?
Well, you got to remember what TiVo is today versus the original conception of TiVo. TiVo originally was a recording device, and we made it easy for people to watch TV when they wanted to. That recording capability is still part of what we do, and we think do better than others. But what we also do is enable television to be integrated through any number of other devices. So new devices coming onto the scene just create more chaos. More chaos means more for us to organize, bring it together in an easy, accessible form.
It also means less profitability, less margins, less revenue for you, not just chaos on your own books, right?
No, not at all. What it does for us is give us the opportunity to implement television through these devices. Most people want to be able to have the same user experience, the same way to go about finding what they want to find. When we implement access to how TiVo frames the user experience for a cable operator through multiple devices, that's part of what they hire us to do. We get paid in a way that when we accomplish that task, when we provide that organization for them, it's part of our overall service offering. So we don't look at that at all as a detriment to what we do. The more devices, the more screens, the more content, the more need for somebody to put this together in a comprehensive way for the consumer, the more business for us.
I wonder whether you've been slow to execute in the European space. I mean, if you go around the States and ask any American what TiVo is, there's this real, oh, I love my TiVo, I can't live without my TiVo. But in Europe, you know, even around the set, you ask people, oh, do you have a TiVo? And most people sort of go, well, no, I don't. So there's a very big gap between absolute love of a product to just sort of, no, I don't have this. I haven't really even looked at having the product. How do you close that divide?
Well, we have begun to make major strides in the European market. We are embraced and heavily rolled out by the largest cable operator in Spain, Ono, the largest cable operator in Scandinavia, Comhem. Coming into the UK yesterday, when the passport control officer asked me what I do, because I typically just say business executive, he said, where? I said TiVo. He went, TiVo, and went on to give me a description of TiVo. That's never happened before.
He didn't have an American accent, did he?
He did not have an American accent, but it was clearly an indication that the marketing that Virgin has done here in terms of explaining how TiVo provides a new way to watch television is gaining ground. So we, as we enter new markets, we certainly see traction.
Go ahead. Do you think that you have a lot of cash in the balance sheet? Do you think consolidation is something you have to be thinking about precisely to bring some order to that chaos? What do you think you should do with all that money?
Well, we have been very successful with a number of patent infringement suits, and you're right, we have a very substantial amount of cash on our balance sheet as a result. We're obviously evaluating both our organic options and strategic options, a number of potential M&A possibilities, and of course are in the midst of a buyback authorization where we've already bought back $100 million on a $200 million stock authorization. So all those options are being considered. Where you hear consolidation the most is among cable companies themselves, where there's a lot of talk about further consolidation in the industry. Liberty Global, of course, which bought Virgin, being a leading provider of that consolidation on the international scene. And we look at that as an opportunity to be able to work with larger operators. Liberty Global acquiring Virgin got us into a much deeper dialogue with Liberty Global than we had previously. So we look at that consolidation as much as an opportunity as anything.
Let's go back to the U.S. markets where you saw 9 quarters of subscription growth. But if you dig down, third-party vendors were actually responsible for that subscriber growth. Your own subscription base actually fell, and you get less revenues from those third-party operators. Is that correct? How do you want to reverse that trend?
Well, we don't want to reverse that trend. Our primary growth business is, when you say third parties, those are cable operators who have the ability to reach millions of viewers around the world. And what TiVo originally was simply a consumer electronics device sold at retail. And we have de-emphasized that business relative to driving the cable subscription business, where we have the opportunity to reach so many more multiples of viewers. So that's a good thing for us. On the other hand, the retail business has been responsible for our having the sizzle of innovation, because we can introduce new products. We're not merely a cable vendor. We're not merely somebody who provides technology services to third parties. And that retail presence has gotten us phenomenal reviews for a new product we call TiVo Romeo, one of the best consumer electronics products in a long time. And with that innovation also comes new consumer retail sales, which are nice and they're profitable, and we continue to drive and market. But the big subscriber growth comes from being able to ally with more and more cable companies.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, you're a global businessman. You've traveled many places, the States, here, across emerging markets. What do you see for the next 12 months? Because it feels as though the cycle is starting to turn. We've got improvement in many markets, but then stimulus is not going to be as easy as it was if the Fed starts to taper and interest rates start to rise in some places. So what do you see? What's ahead for you?
Well, we see in the media space remarkable strength in terms of the traditional media players. Music got crushed by the digital onslaught. Television, for the most part, both in terms of advertising trends and consumption, people are watching more television. Advertisers are finding new ways to associate themselves with that greater viewing, and advertising and marketing is a key indicator of overall strength in the broader marketplace, and so we see that as a leading indicator of further strength to come.
Tom, we've got to wrap it up, but thank you so much for dropping by, and good to hear that you're proud of the network that you created as well.
And I'm very proud of the good, clear questions being asked, so thank you.
Tom Rogers, the CEO of TiVo, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with the market open after the break.